In his speech today, Barack Obama did not abandon his controversial former pastor. He did challenge Americans to help heal the wounds of racism and to resist framing the issue in simplistic terms. We are digging deeper tonight with our panel. CNN contributor Roland Martin joining us, Faye Waddleton, co-founder and president of the Center for the Advancement of Women, and Jim Wallis, who is the author of The Great Awakening, Reviving Faith and Politics in a Post-Religious Right America. He's also president of Sojourners, a Washington-based Christian evangelical ministry. Welcome to everybody. Roland, let me start with you. I know you've said this a number of times today, that you believe Obama's speech has made the controversy swirling around Pastor Wright sort of a secondary issue. And he's now challenged America at its very core. How so?
Well, I think by making it plain the lineage of race and how it is all connected. He spoke today, of course, in Philadelphia, the cradle of democracy, but it's also the same city where the African Methodist Episcopal Church was born out of slavery as well. And so you have that whole connection there. I think it also means challenging us to say, are we going to keep running the same comments over and over, or are we going to go behind the story? You know, I go to Salem Baptist Church in Chicago, Campbell, and what they're doing, something amazing is going on there. Where the largest black church in Illinois has hooked up with Willow Creek, the largest white church, and they're swapping services, they're swapping choirs, the pastors are communicating. They're saying we're building a bridge between Christian churches and not having the 10 a.m. hour being all about race and being segregated. We should be telling those kinds of stories, how America is moving away from its past and embracing a new future. That's what Obama, I think, was talking about today.
All right, and Faye, I know you wanted more outrage from Obama with regard to his remarks about Pastor Wright's comments. Do you think that he missed an opportunity today?
Well, I don't know that I wanted more outrage, but I think that Mr. Obama certainly did not disown his minister and perhaps didn't put as much distance as he should have if he is really to put this issue to sleep. I think this issue is going to be with him for the rest of the campaign. The statements that were made by his pastor will be run over and over again as the campaign tightens and the opposition uses it against him. One other element that I thought that was very interesting is that Mr. Wright has made several comments about U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East being perhaps not what it should be, and that it has resulted in the kind of catastrophe that we saw in 9/11. And I think that that will be used as well as an incendiary statement that Mr. Obama will ultimately have to answer.
Certainly, if he made it to a general election, I know. Reverend Wallis, Jonah Goldberg of the National Review said that Obama's address, quote, did not put to rest the concerns of those Americans who wondered just what he thought as he sat in Wright's church listening to the pastor's controversial statements. Do you think he dealt enough with the specifics of some of his pastor's comments?
Campbell, this was an amazing day as we all watched it unfold. We may look back on this as a historic day because before Barack Obama's speech, this was a test of him. After the speech, it's now become a test of us. And I want to say very clearly, I think every American should watch the speech and watch it with their children and ask if Barack Obama's vision of a more perfect union is the one they want for their children. Injustice creates anger. And now a new generation, a young leader is saying, can we turn the page and move from anger and frustration to a vision of opportunity and hope and even unity? And I want to watch the speech with my children. And that's the question now. This is an examination of us as a nation, not about incendiary comments that are unfortunate. You know, anger does spill over and become self-destructive. But I heard Barack Obama say, I understand the anger. It's time for us to move to a new place. Now, we either are going to let the past upend the future and prevent the future, or we're going to say, this is the future. A young African-American spoke many years ago and talked about a dream he had. And we've been arguing about the dream ever since. Today, another African-American leader talked about how to turn a dream into a more perfect union. And if that's the vision that we want, then I think something important changed today.
But let me hold on one second because I want to address this. These weren't just isolated comments, though, from what we're understanding, the ones made by Reverend Wright. And Faye, let me ask you this. I mean, from what we're hearing, these are comments that are often made in black churches, that this is typical rhetoric. Fair?
I think
True?
it's really important not to put all black churches into a basket. I mean, we do not have an ecclesiastical plantation. I mean, the black churches run the full range and the spectrum of theology and in the way that they conduct their services and their philosophies. So I think that there's no question that there is this kind of theology that is much more confrontational, much more emotional, but there is also theology in churches that are primarily attended by black citizens that is not. And so it runs the range, and it is a very complex issue. I think the danger in all of this is the temptation to oversimplify the depths of racism in our society and how far we have to go. I remember, I was a nursing student listening to Martin Luther King's speech 40 years ago, and I was struck today by the lesson that has to be taught over and over and over again. And Mr. Obama was doing a lot of what Mr. King envisioned this country to be, was talking a lot about that today.
Right.
Hey,
And
Campbell,
I know, Roland, sorry, I know you want to jump in. Save it for tomorrow. We got to end on that note, guys. We're out of time.
All right, no problem.